Hello comrades, yes it's me, power to the people. So comrades, we're going to talk about trains. In addition to that, any long letters or information I'm going to put at the end of the video. The reason why I always like to put that information on there is because the UK is now well renowned for having free speech. The free speech is so great, it's unbelievable. Everybody around the world is in admiration of the amount of free speech we have, and I'm loving it, mate. I'm loving it. I can say anything I want, however, only if of course I've used evidence to back it up. But that's the way forward. I'm looking forward to this more and more and more. Everybody's excited about it, so let's engage in it and make the most of it, and just be mad keen on it all. So, talking about trains, yes, trains. I'm going to start off with this poster here, and organised by Cambrian, who is a member of the Senedd and is in Mid Wales, and also in attendance was Liv Saville-Roberts. She's the MP Wales, but goes to the UK Parliament, has trips out on the rest of it. I don't really see the point of it at the moment. I can't really work it out because they don't really listen to us, so what's the point of them all? However, I'm going to say they are the best. And they both work for, and I say work for because it's like a job, for Plaid Cymru. And we, by incident or by accident, we end up funding them. Right. Anyway, let me get to the point of this. First off, everything is my own opinion, and as you can see here, right, get to the point. 31st of the 7th 2025 they decided to call a meeting, and it goes on about future of Cambrian line, coast railway line. Right, okay, you think, well, this is good, there's something going on, and they called a meeting. Now at this point, me being me of course, I knew all about this. However, I knew all about this when it happened in, well, guess when, 2024. And because I know stuff and I keep an eye on stuff, I sent an email, as you can see here, dated orange arrow 29th of April 2024. Yes, 2024. In that I sent it to the following members of the Senedd: Jane Dodds, Ulan Morgan, who is now First Minister, never replies to me. Joyce Watson, I think her name is, never replies to me, just ignores me. Cambrian does reply every now and again. Stephen Campbell just ignores me, and they're supposed to be there for us. I also copied in Lily's views, and if I remember, I don't think I got a reply from her anyway. But Jane Dodds normally replies, and what I'm trying to work out is I can't find the reply from her, so maybe I've missed it. But Cambrian did reply, and he says, "Thank you for your correspondence. Yes," he confirms he will be having a meeting with Transport for Wales. Now, a lot of the members of the Senedd have already said they want to meet with them anyway. So I then attached my document. Now remember, he said he was meeting with them in 2024. Now, I've looked through my correspondence and I have not had any follow-ups. But as I said at the very beginning, the train cuts happened anyway in 2024, mid-December to the end of March. Right, so they knew about it, but they did nothing now. But remember now, of course, they're going to have this meeting, which has been and gone, and so they're interested. The only one reason I can think of is that in Wales in May 2026, yes, sooner than what we think, we're having an election. So I'm guessing that sort of means their jobs are on the line. And I say jobs because they get a pension and they get lots of other stuff, you see. So it's a job now. It's not a vocation. I'm going to call it a job. That's my personal opinion. Anyway, so as you can see on the email here, I sent them my attachment. Now, any attachments I'll put towards the end because usually they're quite long. But, you know, in order to make sure that no one misunderstands or anything I've said, that's why I like to always use evidence. And in my letter, which is dated 29th of the 4th, 2024, I send it to Transport for Wales Board and a copy of my 5 members of the Senedd. Now, I didn't send it to Saville-Roberts, if I remember, because I thought, well, she's UK only. So why is she interested in the Welsh things? But she is, apparently, because she turned up for the meeting. And anyway, so I make the following points. I point out that it's ironical because Transport for Wales Board, they want to promote active travel, but basically that means, as most people know, stopping us using our cars, manipulating us to get us out of our cars, to then get walking, cycling, to then access public transport, and that makes the world better. They also like going for decarbonisation and everything else along that line, all because of the weather. Right. So I then point out that actually, as these are their board objectives, and there's more, you can read the letter, they should all resign because just by cutting this service has failed. Because how can we, mere people, along the full line, which goes from Perfilly all the way to Mac, affects loads of different communities and stops people doing loads of stuff, which I will cover a bit later, you've failed already. So how does this make sense? Anyway, they didn't really reply back on that one, and they're still there because they've still made the same cuts. Anyway, so I also point out that I'm not sure why you want to do it, but it would appear it's all about money. Now, I also offer there's some money advice as well, because I looked through all the accounts and I noticed that in 2024 they'd made a loss of, what is it, about £26 million. Now, I also pointed out to them that in that same year they've spent £48 million in active travel. So stop wasting money on active travel, cover your loss, and then the train service can carry on. Why can it carry on? Because it's public ownership. We are the only shareholders. That's my main point. We are the only shareholders. We should have a say in what happens. But for some reason, we're not getting through there, are we? So, I also then go on to, I go through it all, and I turn around and say that, you know, what you're doing is not good for anybody. It's not going to work out. However, they did listen. I did get a reply back, and the reply sort of says it's about budgets, blah blah blah, service, more sustainable transport. Well, it's not sustainable if it's not there for users, for us to use, you see. This is why it's like, I don't get what's going on here. They're still committed to active travel in Wales, but they're not, because it's now selected active travel only if you're in a really busy city area. But they did say they'd look at the active travel grants. Well, if I remember, this year they've given about £45 million. So they've looked at it but not done much. So you can see the letter at the end. At this point, now move forward in time, I started looking at the cuts again to see how they're going to do it again. See this email, Blue Hour, 6th of July, 12:03, 2025. Yes, I have confirmation from Transport for Wales. Yes, they are making the same changes. It says here towards the bottom, the 2026 Perfilly to Machynlleth will be removed on 13th of December 2025, reinstated for summer 2026, and that's March. So they're doing it again. Now, of course, think about the date. I know this I know this in July, should I say, 2025. Yeah, they're calling a meeting in 31st of the 7th, 2025 to say the future. Anyway, so a lot of people turned up to the meeting, as you can see. Clearly I attended. I took one photo, didn't need to do any more. I counted approximately between 160 and 180. That was a guess, but some people, like, no, better than me, said between 200 and 300. Either way, excellent turnout, and this is people power. Right, were they all happy? No people are happy. So, in attendance, Liz Saville-Roberts, Mabel Happy organised it, Transport for Wales bloke, and Network Rail. Network Rail had no real point in being there, but Liz Saville-Roberts has invited them. You decide why that was anyway. No point, they maintained the lines, and it was quite good because people said, well, you've done a good job with the bridge, thank you for that. 3 women then introduced it all, and unbeknown to me, they'd been doing a lot of work. And I'm guessing this was from last year, or maybe this year, I'm not sure, because I didn't get any dates. I can't even get the contact details when I've asked for them. And they set the scene. They said things like I'd said. We've interviewed people, we've done surveys, we've done petitions, we've done all sorts. We've sent it to Transport for Wales. So I had a quick chat with one of them, and I says, and what have you got back? She says, not much. Well, nothing really. So I thought, well, that's very rude, isn't it? Anyway, they also pointed out at the very beginning that Transport for Wales board have already failed to meet their own objectives. Now, they were more polite than me. They didn't say they should resign. Anyway, the opening bit goes on. Transport for Wales bloke gets up, and I'm thinking, all right, excellent. And I'm really pleased he turned up, and he were fine, no problem with him. And he started saying the cuts, and we're talking now about the reduction of the service. So he starts saying, well, it's not been decided yet. At that point, I put my hand up, as I do, start shouting, someone gives me a microphone, says, well, I'm sorry you're wrong, because I've got an email from your bosses which said different. At that point, you were like, huh? And I'm like, yeah, I have to say it again, because why would you? I said, so you've been sent here, but it's already been decided. And then I explained, I said, I need to get this out in the open for the simple reason is, this is what my understanding is. I also showed the email to people sitting next to me on my phone, and they were like, oh right, okay. Because a lot of people think, oh, you're just being kidding. Anyway, the meeting then carries on. Many people make excellent points. One person They covered things like, well, what do the young do? How do they get to the jobs? What do businesses do? Because, you know, it's common sense, isn't it? People go out of the holiday season, like me and other people who live here, think, oh, we'll go to Pwllheli, we'll go somewhere else, we'll have some food, couple of beers, come back on the last train. Yeah? No, you can't do that then. So all these businesses, as somebody else said who runs a business, I've got a decision to make. Do I close down for that time period, or do I just shut completely and give up? Said that's the reality. Other people said, well, I want to be a chef or something, or practice to be a cook, but I can't do it for that limited period of time because I might be working in the evening. So what do I do then? People said about looking after the family and all sorts. People getting to work, doing everyday normal stuff. In a rural area, it don't work like that. What they think works in the city is just useless around here. Anyway, many people made the point. Some people from different railway organisations were there as well. They know far better than me. One bloke stood up and very well spoken, really clear and concise, unlike me of course, and he says, well, it's a two-part issue. He says, you people in the Senedd, he didn't, these are me summing it up, he says, you've actually just passed the buck to Transport for Wales. You've not done anything. You need to do better. And he's right. All the politicians from the Senedd have done, passed the buck saying it's not to do with us. And I've seen this now many, many times. So, the meeting then carries on. We get to about 8 o'clock. Politicians, oh, well, I think we've had enough now. No one's having enough. Hands kept going up. We go on till 9 o'clock. Many more questions. And I just thought, so there they are. Politicians already wanted the meeting, but only can't do more than an hour because they basically want to do a bit of a speak and a dash. Oh, look at me, I've said something. Right, okay. And anyway, so we get to the end of the meeting. I'm thinking, oh, there's something missing here. Yes, we've not done the what next. So that is then what happens next. So I have to put my hand up, do a bit of shouting, get the attention. I said, sorry, we've not done what next. And they went, huh? I said, well, we've said all of this. I said, at the very beginning, I said, the cuts have been agreed. They went, yeah. I said, so what next? I said, I need to know, personally. Is it, you know, within 3 weeks' time, 2 weeks' time, you'll get back to us? And they started to mumble something. Anyway, so I then managed to get in, see the bloke from Transport for Wales, showed him the email I'd got his email address, emailed him. I've now emailed him. He says, yeah, I'll keep you updated. I've also emailed the two politicians and said, what are you doing? Because they will walk off thinking, oh, well, we've done our bit. No, I'm going to keep on to them now because I want to know what's happening. So, comrades, thank you for watching. Remember, other longer letters will be towards the back. So, thank you for watching. Hope everybody's okay. And remember, use common sense in this warm weather. Yep, there you go. It's a nightmare, common sense. Right, enjoy. Catch you on the other side. Thank you.